dental care. A massive achievement, not just for folks in Edmonton and Alberta, but for Canadians right across our country. It's something that's impacted families right here at home, and we're so proud and honored to have done this work on behalf of so many Canadians. For too long have they waited. For too long have they asked when and how they're going to get dental care. Even at a time like now, when the price and cost of living is so high, dental care is sometimes the last thing families will think of. But it's so necessary to ensure that we have good long-term health care. Just like the families who are with us today, they've been able to access the Canada Dental Benefit, something New Democrats push for, something we've fought for a long time, and something we're so proud to share with Canadians from coast to coast to coast. I now want to introduce our leader, the Honourable Member of Parliament from Burnaby, Jagmeet Singh, and leader of the NDP.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. I want to thank Breanna for being here, Heather and Blake. Breanna is an example of what this dental care program means. Breanna has 5 kids, and all her kids were able to get the dental care program. And for her kids, it meant the first time going to the dentist. And your story, Breanna, is not it's not isolated. There's so many people in our country that do not go to a dentist because it costs too much. We've got some evidence that over 7 million Canadians avoid going to the dentist because it's so costly. That's so many people who are missing out on getting their teeth looked after, and the impacts on their long-term health. For kids particularly, this is a really vital time, and for so many families it's just not possible. With the cost of living so high and the recent inflation numbers that have come out again today, which paint the picture, which many Canadians already know, life is getting harder. The cost of groceries are still up. The cost of mortgage, the cost of rent, the cost of housing is still up. And that means people are really squeezed and feeling a lot of pressure. And when you're feeling squeezed, that means you've got to make tough choices. And often that means important things have to be put off. And one of those things that gets put off is dental care. And for a kid, that means not getting their teeth looked after, which could mean in the long term, worse outcomes. They could have bigger problems because they weren't able to look after the teeth. So thankfully, we were able to make this happen so that families like Breanna's are able to get their kids the visits they need to the dentist. By the end of this year, it's going to mean that children 18 and under, seniors, and people living with disabilities all will be able to go to the dentist with a permanent dental care program that will ensure that their visits will be free. This will be life-changing for so many families. And what's really disappointing is that in face of how important it is to be able to access dental care, the Liberals and the Conservatives teamed up to vote against this 2 times in the past. Pierre Poilievre and his members of parliament, the member of parliament for this very riding where we're standing, voted against bringing in dental care, despite the fact that Pierre has had dental care for 2 decades. He voted against families like Breanna's getting access to the same thing that he has had for the past 2 decades, which I think is absolutely wrong. We're going to keep on fighting to make sure families get a break. We know that the cost of living is really hurting a lot of people. The fact that people can't afford groceries, the rents are so high, the mortgage payments are so high, it's putting a lot of pressure on families. We know that there's a lot more work that needs to be done, and we're going to continue fighting hard to make sure people get that break, make sure that people can find a home that's affordable, make sure people can afford their groceries. And when it comes to dental care, we're going to keep on fighting to make sure that no family has to make a difficult choice of putting off essential care for their teeth because they can't afford it. So I want to ask if, Breanna, you're able to share a little bit of what it means for you and your family. And so I'm going to ask Breanna to come forward and talk about what this means for her and what this meant for her kids.
Sure. Thank you,
Thanks
Mr.
so much,
Singh.
You can stand right up there beside her if you'd like.
You want to stand with mommy? Hi. So for the past few months, my children, 5 of them, have been able to access the Canada Dental Benefit, which has benefited them greatly. They have received incredible work from fillings to spacers. My oldest son has a rare dental condition that we would have never found out about if it wasn't for the benefit to get us through the dentist's door and into the chair. Everything is very expensive, and one of the first things to go is dental care. You want to keep a roof over their head and food on the table. So the last thing you do is $300 here or $600 there for the dentist is just not in the budget. So to be able to have such a benefit as this, it helps them. It helps them in school. They're able to concentrate. There's no pain in their mouth. As they grow, you want the best for your kids, you know? I mean, if they break their arm, you're able to go to the hospital, but a toothache, Advil only does so much. So this has changed their lives. They're more confident, they're able to eat better, they're not complaining. You want to come see Mommy? Yeah, we're extremely grateful. I'm really happy to hear that it's going to be graduating into more people being able to access it, and hopefully over time everybody, because I believe dental care is preventative health care. Once you take care of your teeth, it eliminates other health issues, which then the backlogs in the hospitals, they'll be eliminated. It's just a process, you know. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Wow. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
That's so well said.
That's so good.
That's so eloquent.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to Breanna and to her kids. It's really about the real benefits for families, and we're really proud of the fact that we're able to ensure that people can access something that's so important. And we know that so many more people need it, so we're going to keep on pushing to expand it. But in Edmonton alone, over 10,000 kids were able to receive this benefit. Across the country, hundreds of thousands of kids were able to receive dental care. It's the first payment of $650. An additional payment of $650 is also available this year, so it's going to be up to $1,300 per child. A significant amount to help kids get their first dental visit and to get them the preventative care that they need. I can't believe how conservatives and the conservative in this riding voted against something that 10,000 Edmontonians plus have received, that so many kids were able to benefit from. So we're going to keep on pushing hard. This is just one element of what we're fighting for. We know that families deserve to be able to look after their health, and our dental health should be included in our healthcare system. It should never have been excluded. It should have always been a part of our healthcare system. As Breanna was saying, if you've got pain in your teeth, it impacts every aspect of your life. It's hard to eat the right food, you can't sleep, it's going to impact your overall health and well-being. And so being able to take care of your teeth, get rid of that pain, and have that preventative care, it's going to ensure that kids are healthy in the long run. So that's exactly what we want to do, and I'm really proud that we were able to share Breanna's story, because we want other families to know that this program is available. Please access it, check to see if you qualify, and make sure you access this program. And by the end of the year, we want to encourage all seniors, kids 18 and under, and people living with disabilities to make sure they access this program. It's something that's going to save you and your family money, and it's going to ensure that you can take care of your health. With that, I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be here, and I'm looking forward to any questions that you might have.
Okay, we'll start with one question, one follow-up. So we'll start here with Edmonton.
Hi, Sunita with the Edmonton Bureau. Thanks so much for being here. My first question, there's been some concerns that some provinces who are already covering dental care, they've gotten a smaller cut of that federal budget, which leads to some questions that they are considering potentially completely axing the program that they have and switching over to the dental care benefit with the feds. How is the NDP and Liberal government working together to address this concern?
Our ultimate goal is to make sure people have access to dental care. And what we want to see happen is that every Canadian can access the best care possible. So we'll work with provinces and territories with their existing programs and find the best way to deliver this program. The first step was an interim benefit, and by the end of this year, we're going to have the permanent program in place. And on that journey, we're happy to work with provinces and territories to ensure that we're getting the most care possible to the most people possible. That's really our goal, and to achieve that, we're ready to do anything possible.
So this program has doubled since it was first talked about, I suppose. So what are your, how are you thinking about this in terms of feasibility if it's going to be a permanent program? Are you concerned about that at all?
Well, we're always concerned about making sure we're spending our money prudently. We have to be responsible with our expenses. Dental care, though, is truly preventative care. I spoke with some children's hospital leaders and leadership, and they indicated that one of the biggest or the most common procedures that they have to perform is a dental procedure on children, because children weren't able to receive dental care while they were young. So there is going to be savings with this investment. It's a program that's going to have a cost, but the benefits for millions of Canadians to be able to get their teeth looked after, for kids to be able to get their teeth looked after, the long-term benefits, the reduced pain in their lives, the benefits to their long-term health is going to be a long-term benefit. It's an investment in improving the health of our country, and it's worth making. We look at the cost of it. The program is something that is absolutely something we can afford, and we've got other means of increasing revenue that we're talking about. We've pushed for increasing the contributions of big banks and insurance companies, which we forced this Liberal government to do. That's already happened. And we're talking about other ways to increase revenue with those that are not paying their fair share, large corporations that are using loopholes to get out of paying what everyday Canadians have to pay their fair share, and large corporations should also pay what they owe instead of using loopholes to get out of doing that. So we can look at the revenue side, but this is something that really is going to benefit so many families, and it is an investment in our long-term health of our society and something that is worth making.
Great. We'll just go down the line. So right here.
So just pointing out, dental healthcare is preventative. That's what this is all about. When you were going through the process of trying to get this through, what kind of pushback did you get? What were people saying? What were other politicians saying about why this isn't in place already?
Yeah, I was actually shocked when we put this idea forward that both Liberals and Conservatives voted against it. And their reasons were really nonsensical. They didn't have any real grounds to make the argument that kids shouldn't be receiving dental care. But that's what they did initially. They opposed this program 2 times, not once, but 2 times we put this idea forward 2 years ago, and Liberals and Conservatives voted against it. And to this day, actually, the Conservatives continue to vote against it, and I don't know how they can look a kid in their eyes and say that they are opposed to kids getting dental care. Like, I don't know how they can look Breanna's kids in the eyes and say, oh, your kids don't deserve dental care, when the leader of the Conservative Party has had taxpayer paid, publicly paid dental care for the past 2 decades almost. I mean, it is a ludicrous proposition. I can't believe that they could in any way justify it. So their rationale was it's not something we need to do. I disagree. We absolutely do need to do it. They said it's not needed, where millions of Canadians don't have access to dental care, so it's absolutely needed. So their arguments fall flat, and I don't know how they're going to justify their votes. The Conservative in this riding, the Member of Parliament, voted against dental care. I don't know how he's going to go back to his electorate and say, I voted against a program that over 10,000 kids in Edmonton have already received, and millions more are going to receive across the country when the full program rolls out.
This is a follow-up. Something like this is going to cost a lot of money. We're going to be talking about the cost of it, of course. But the benefits are intangible. You can't say how much is saved because that work is not being done. How do you go forward, talking about the benefits of this and the cost effectiveness of something like this to the general healthcare system?
Well, we have some evidence that we can rely on. I mentioned when I spoke with the executive of the children's hospitals in the Ottawa area, and they mentioned that one of the most costly and one of the most common procedures for children was a dental related procedure because of lack of preventative care. So we're going to prevent a lot of unnecessary care because kids are going to be able to get that care early on. We know that for seniors, it's a very serious part of their overall health and well-being. We know that cardiovascular health and mental health are directly connected to your overall gum health and your teeth health. So there are clear benefits that we can point to in the long term. We can look at other countries where dental care is available and their outcomes and how they differ from our outcomes. So there's clear ways for us to point to the benefits. And it's like anything in healthcare. When you make an investment up front, there's a cost, but the long-term benefit of having a healthier society, having children that are healthier and happier, having folks that can age better because they've got healthier teeth, all those benefits are real concrete things that benefit our society and are worth it. When we look at when healthcare was first introduced, it was always intended from the beginning with the earliest commissions that said it should include pharmacare, medication coverage, and it should also include dental care. We're trying to complete that one missing link of our healthcare system to include dental care. So by the end of this year, seniors, people 18 and under, kids 18 and under, and people with disabilities are going to be able to have this care. After that, the final phase will include all Canadians who earn less than $70,000. That's going to help millions of people. Our estimates are around 9 to 10 million Canadians. That's almost 1 in 4 Canadians going to receive this benefit. And it's going to ensure that we have a healthier society, and it's something worth doing.
So federal cabinet ministers have been given an October 2nd deadline on specific cuts for an effort to save like $50 million budget. So do you support the $50 million cut? And I guess where would you cut from if you could answer?
Sure. Well, I'm concerned about the Liberals doing it because I don't know what type of cuts they're going to put in place. I would ensure that we're spending our money prudently, and there are places where we could certainly save money, where we could put in place some savings. We could stop the billions of dollars of subsidies to already profitable companies. That's a place where we should absolutely be cutting. That's a poor use of our resources. We spend billions of dollars in outsourcing to companies when we could use our public service. We saw some of the contracts with McKinsey and other consulting firms. That's something where we should absolutely be saving money and instead investing in our own workforce, our own federal workforce. So there's ways we could save money there. But I'm concerned that in a time when people are already feeling so squeezed, that these cuts might mean cuts to things that Canadians need, like our healthcare, like our social services and the social safety net. Those are areas where we're already feeling the squeeze, more food bank usage than ever before. People are having a hard time buying their groceries. We don't want to exacerbate that problem by cutting the programs that people need. But there are places where we absolutely can make better choices. And that's, as a New Democrat, I would trust New Democrats to make that choice, to ensure that we're spending our money prudently and we're not cutting where families need, but we're cutting some of the wasteful things that are going to billionaire or billion-dollar corporations that are receiving billions of dollars of subsidies that are not necessary, and consulting firms that are receiving huge contracts, which is also not necessary. So there's ways we can save, and we'll watch very closely to make sure this government doesn't cut to make things even more painful for Canadians. En français aussi. Donc, je comprends le besoin d'assurer qu'on nous sommes prudents avec nos dépenses. J'ai peur que le gouvernement libéral va couper dans les services nécessaires pour les familles, particulièrement dans un temps où on a déjà des grands défis à rejoindre les deux bouts. Mais de notre côté, on sait qu'il y a des coupures qu'on peut faire. On peut couper les subventions aux entreprises pétrolières qui font des profits massifs, des profits records. On peut couper ces subventions. On peut aussi couper les contrats qui va aux grandes entreprises au lieu d'utiliser notre service public. Donc, il y a des coupures qu'on peut faire qui peut sauver d'argent pour maintenir les programmes pour les familles, parce que je ne veux pas voir des coupures dans les services pour les familles dans ces temps difficiles. Sure.
You have two events. You're talking with the mayor. You have a public event.
That's right.
Just what do you hope to accomplish in those two events?
Sure. With the mayor, we're going to continue to talk about housing. We've been doing a housing tour across the country over the summer, speaking with people from across the country, from the north, from the Atlantic regions, prairies now, and Ontario, Quebec, and BC. We want to make sure that we hear about what the challenges are and what are some of the solutions. So we're going to speak to the mayor about housing. And then this evening we'll be doing a town hall on health. And we're looking forward to hearing about the concerns around healthcare. We know that there are serious concerns about lack of access, the wait times are so long, and we want to make sure that we're hearing people on what the problems are, and then we're looking towards what solutions we can offer to make sure our healthcare system is strong, it remains public, and it's there for people when they need it.
Okay, just one more quick one.
Yeah.
Is there a plan to extend this into vision care as well? I mean, it's not our fault that we're short-sighted or
Yeah, we when we launched our campaigns, both in 2019 and 2021, we talked about head-to-toe healthcare, and that our healthcare system has some significant gaps. One of them was dental care. The other one is medication coverage. We also mentioned that there's mental health, that's a massive gap in our healthcare system. There's a lot of lack of access to services when it comes to mental health, but also for vision care, hearing care. We truly want a healthcare system that covers people from head to toe. And it will mean a healthier society, it will mean a better workforce. It's better for everyone to ensure that people can get the care they need. So ultimately, we want to see a healthcare system that covers people from head to toe. All their needs should be met. Thanks so much. Merci beaucoup. A huge thank you again to Breanna and your family.
Thank you for
You're so
having us.
amazing. Thanks to Heather and to Blake. Appreciate it. Thanks all. I didn't
Good
realize
work.
you're so eloquent. Holy
Good
moly.
job.